Wake up, I gotta go get it. Wake up, I gotta go get it.
Oh, what's going on, y'all? College Couch Podcast back in session. What's up, y'all? Javaris here. College Couch Podcast. Stackz, Delbridge, forever in the building. We're back. I know we kind of hit everybody with not doing the episode last week, but as always, things happen. But we're back. We're ready. Crazy week last week with 4 upsets happening in the top 25. Man, that just goes along with the saying that we've been really stressing this entire season. Is just any given Saturday, and I mean anything can happen on any given Saturday, any given week. And man, for 4 upsets to happen like that, that just shows what we've been talking about as well as that talent gap is closing, and teams are just they're ready to pack a punch whenever the time is needed. I mean, especially with for instance Vandy. So. But we're not gonna get too much into that because that would be a long episode that we don't want to draw out for you guys. But we want to go ahead and get into the things that happened this past week for week what is this, week 8? Dude, we're at the halfway mark. That's crazy.
No, that's right.
Crazy. We only
Right.
got like 8 more weeks left for college football.
Technically, we only got one more month of regular season,
Yeah.
and then it's playoff time. Because last game of the season is November.
Don't make me sad.
I know, man.
It
takes so long to get here, and it go by so fast.
Yeah, man. So this was week 7, and then the previous week was week 6. So week 8 is coming up. So we're hitting the halfway mark this upcoming weekend. But yeah, man, let's talk about these games of week 7. Stackz, we talked before we got on cam here, and you were pretty much saying you want to go ahead and hit on this Oregon and Oregon State game, which was the game of the week for ESPN
Oregon,
and some
Ohio
other
State,
places. Yeah. What'd I say?
Oregon. Hey.
Ohio State. I'm so sorry. Oregon and Ohio State. Man, 1-point matchup. This game was pretty much already talked about to be very close, but goodness gracious, 1 point. Oh man! So let's go ahead and hear what you got from this game.
No, I mean the game was entertaining, lived up to the hype completely. You know, both teams was giving it their all, going back and forth. For me, it was good. It was a good game. I mean, I think both parties, and Dylan Gabriel definitely showed me something, what I've been wanting to see from him. You know, I've been one of his big critics throughout the year, and I admit that. And he showed up, showed out, and that's big for Oregon. Ohio State played great too, so I don't want to discredit them. But let's talk about this last drive at the last minute. I just think it's crazy that you got 6 seconds left on the clock. You know, I get it. As a coach, you want to get your field goal kicker a little bit better position. So I understand that. So that's why you always got the out route. You had the out route, and he had the out route. The out route was open. He just didn't want to pull the trigger. So I mean, every quarterback is taught, and even fans know that if the out route is not open on that play, you throw it out of bounds so that you can set up a field goal. Because think about it. You do anything else, you can either risk a pick, you know what I'm saying, or if you run like he tried to do, time doesn't stop. Mm-hmm. And you put pressure on both you and your coach. So I just thought that the decision making was terrible on that. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to harp on it and make it seem like it's his fault that they lost the game, because it's not. You know, I just think that was poor situational awareness from the coach and Will Howard, because the coach got to let Will Howard know, hey, throw this out route. The out route is not there. Throw it out of bounds, because you do that, you essentially got like 3 seconds left on the clock. Right. Then you can set up for a field goal. And I know some people thought that maybe they didn't want to set up for the field goal right there, but I'm like, I'd rather you lose off a missed field goal, because at that point there's nothing else you can do. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But now just bad. It's just terrible to lose in that fashion that they lost by, because like you could have did a few things different. Okay, threw the out route and actually got it to your receiver, got out of bounds. Okay, and that's not there. Throw it out of bounds. Okay, now you got 3 seconds left to set up for a field goal. So now we got what ifs. You kick a field goal there, you have no what ifs. You know what I'm saying? It's outside of the normal what ifs of if we could have executed on this play or whatever. But I just wanted to say that was very poor situational awareness. And the
Well,
fact he slid and then looked up at the clock and was like, "Oh,
yeah,
dang." You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, you gotta know, you got 6 seconds left. Like, you gotta understand the
right,
situation.
yeah,
Like, because the out route was when they showed the replay. I was like, man, the out route probably was right there wide open, and sure enough, it was there. But for a reason, he didn't want to throw it, and that's fine. But you gotta throw it out of bounds. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta know where you at.
yeah,
But I digress. So I just wanted to get that out because I haven't seen many people talk about it.
yeah.
So I
Well,
wanted to address it.
I do want to give credit where it's due, and I also want to give a kudos to Coach Dan Lanning from Oregon, who used to be the defensive coordinator for Georgia. This is where Dan Lanning thrives. That's on the defensive stance. A lot of people haven't talked about this as well, and I just happened to come across this not too long. Pretty much, I think it was either yesterday or late Saturday night. But Dan Lanning used a tactic that's not really talked about a lot in college football. So apparently, if you get a penalty, I guess, within the last few seconds of a game, it's a 5 second runoff. So
Right.
what Dan Lanning did was he put 12 men on the field. And so that was like 9 seconds left on the clock, which ended up after that penalty drops it down to 4 seconds because again it's a 5 second runoff. So that only left 4 seconds on the clock. So Dan Lanning really just came in clutch for his team to think of that and put 12 men on the field in order to take that penalty and then leave 4 seconds on the clock. And then if you're Ohio State, you kind of just have to launch it downfield and just pray for the best. You good over there?
I'm trying to think because there was 6 seconds left on the clock, not
I
4.
could have sworn it was nine when right. So it was nine right before they did it, and then with the penalty, it would have been 4 seconds because of the 5 second runoff.
No, well, when he had the ball on that last play, it was 6 seconds. I
It
remember
was.
because I watched that play like a
So it
hundred
may have
times.
it may have been 11 then. So it may have been
Yeah, because
11
I was
seconds
about to
to
say
five.
because I'm like I watched that play. I mean, because
Okay.
I just wanted to make sense of what he was thinking. I watched him
Yeah.
play a lot. There was 6 seconds left on that clock.
Okay.
So
Well,
that's
even
I mean, it could have been 11 seconds, left in the game. I'm
yeah.
not. The play before that, I didn't
Mhm.
care. Because I'm like, all right, they got a chance to kick a field goal, so I
Right.
really didn't care
Yeah.
unless you
Yeah.
score a touchdown there. But
Yeah.
I'm like, the 6 seconds left. I was like, man, that's interesting.
Right.
That's,
But Dan Lanning, man, just a guru on and off the field as far as just defense. I mean, he really showed up for Georgia, to help us get those two national championships. And I mean, for him to pretty much carry that along at Oregon, where he's now the head coach. I mean, it's where he thrives. So I couldn't be more happy that Oregon got that W. Of course, kind of want to see Ohio State get it, but I think at this point we're kind of just counting down the days, for Ryan Day. I mean, we've also talked about it here. It's a must that he beats Michigan this year as well. Like he has to get that W against Michigan.
yeah, because I mean, I feel like you spend all that money on your team.
Mm-hmm.
You got all these elite players. You know, and don't get me wrong, Oregon's no slouch at all. But you're Ohio State, and you got all this talent. And you had the game right there for the win. So so if you don't beat Michigan this year, that pretty much almost takes away your entire run for a championship. Because you lost to Oregon and then you lose late because they play Michigan a little bit late. So now it's kind of hard to bounce back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, unless you win your conference, you win your conference championship.
Yeah.
You still got a head of steam.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see. That's all I
Well,
can say.
this was a great introduction for Michigan. Coming into a new conference within the Big Ten, and I mean, still undefeated right now, and they're 3-0 in the conference. So I mean, it's just it's this Oregon's year. I mean, when you're talking about the Big Ten, man, that's a really good conference. I mean, but God, this is a great start to a new conference. So it's up in the air in the Big Ten. That's genuinely how I feel right now. It's really up in the air for the Big Ten. But yeah, man, I think this was a great game. I mean, of course, it was definitely the game of the weekend. It showed. Shout out to Jordan James, 115 rushing yards, number one. Not really talked about a lot either. Within just this whole group of running backs. Evan Stewart, 149 receiving yards, one touchdown. Tez, 75 yards. Yeah, man. Jeremiah, the freshman phenom, who is dang near neck and neck with Ryan Williams from Alabama, 100 receiving yards, one touchdown. Man, I mean, it was just a good game from top to bottom. I mean, you got what you paid for, and
Right. On both sides of the
yeah,
ball.
you
It's
couldn't
just
ask for more.
that's why I always say it's always minimal mistakes that can
Hmm.
separate you from a win or loss. I don't care
Yeah,
how great you play. You know what I'm saying? Unless you blow a team out completely, but when you got a team that's equal stature, that's coming for the win,
mm,
mental mistakes. Like I think Oregon only had like 3 or 4 penalties. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it was very solid. Like a
yeah,
very disciplined game. They didn't turn the ball over. So I mean, you got a team playing like that to take out the higher ranked team, and they don't make the mental mistakes, and then the higher ranked team make the mental mistake, like and then at the crucial time, like it's
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it
So
was it was top to bottom. I think flawless game, and I mean that was just an all time classic. For that for those two teams, and I hope we're going to be able to see more of that. With Michigan, I mean with Oregon and Ohio State playing each other a lot more. Due to being in the same conference. But let's move on to Colorado and Kansas State.
what a game!
What a game!
I watched
What
that
a
mother
game!
from beginning to end.
Uh huh.
Shadur showed me something that game. I always wondered what he would do if he didn't have Jimmy Horn and he did not have Travis Hunter.
Hmm.
And he showed up. I mean, and the other receivers stepped up too. I mean, Webster, which I've always, ever since the beginning of the year, I've been a fan of him. He is a beast. Not talked about because of the other two receivers, Horn and Travis Hunter. But he's a good receiver. I mean, Shador stepped up. I mean, he got a little greedy on that last play, but I mean, you know, if you don't take a chance, then you never know what happens. So, that was a great game. And Kansas State, I mean, they answered the bell. And they stepped up. Man, the quarterback went out for a little second. Came back. Balled out, threw some dots. I mean, dots. But you could definitely tell how Colorado plays without Travis Hunter.
Hmm.
It's a whole, especially on the other side of the ball. But even though the cornerback that came in his place when he was hurt, he got a pick and it was big at a crucial time. So yeah. So I mean, definitely kudos to him. But you could definitely tell the energy is a little different when he's not on the field. You know. So and I mean, and they were attacking. So I mean, Kansas State was definitely attacking. And the running game, oh my gosh. A running game. The running back put Shiloh on skates.
Yeah.
Uh, which I mean, I know I talk about Shiloh all the time, but I mean, it's his first game back from injury, so he definitely was rusty. Because I mean, I always said that my biggest flaw I see with him is coverage. You know, usually he downhill, he running through people, the tackles and stuff like that. That's his bread and butter. But I
Hmm.
could definitely tell that he had missed some time because the tackles he normally would get, he wasn't getting. You
Well, I
know what I'm
mean,
saying?
I think if I'm not mistaken, he what broke his arm or something that had to do with his arm. And I think he didn't want to re-trigger that
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
yeah.
saying.
So
You
it's fair.
rusty and then you coming off an injury, like you have that sixth sense, like yo, I ain't trying to hurt myself again. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Or that, and the fact that you haven't really practiced completely like that. So it's like you know, it just rushed. I mean, once
Yeah.
he gets that confidence back and shake the rust off and stuff like that, he'll be back to knocking heads off. You still gonna
Absolutely.
be a liability in coverage, but I mean, I'll always stand by that until
That
he
I think
proves me
that I
different.
think that's just with the
If
territory.
he
I mean,
prove me wrong, he prove me wrong. But
yeah,
I hope he does.
yeah.
Um, but
But
yeah,
Colorado, yeah, but Colorado had this game right in the fourth, and Kansas State, Avery Johnson, they found a way to really dig deep and get this W. But this was almost a big time win for Clemson. I mean, where am I with my teams today? With Colorado, and it just man, it was really this was just a great week of college football, especially coming off of last week as well with the top four upsets. I mean, with the top 25 upsets that we had, which was four. So yeah, man. I mean, hey, Colorado fell short, but this I think this was one of the games that shows can or if they can compete with with some of these top 25 teams, as well as if they try to make it into the playoff picture. So I say keep playing your game, man. I mean, fell short in this one, but you still got another week ahead, and I think they play Arizona next week. So
that ain't gonna be no slouch either.
no, it's not. So they
They got questions like
oh
is
yeah.
Hunter gonna be healthy? Jimmy Horn gonna be healthy? Like are these guys gonna be good? I would think they were down to like their fourth receiver. You
Yeah.
know, outside of Webster. I think they pretty banged up, but we all know that's how college football goes. So the team that stays the healthiest or has the best backups, you know, that's the team that usually goes, deep in the playoffs,
Mm.
and potentially the championship. Like if your whole team is healthy, like for prime example, last year, Georgia was banged up like all the way through. You know what I'm saying? So, and this year, I mean, they got some injuries and they got some folks that don't know if they want to be in the streets or be on the team. But that's another conversation for another day. But yeah. So I mean that's part of the game, though.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Well,
So
yeah, man. I have nothing. I think I'm more ready to get into this next game, man. I've never been more disappointed in an O line in my life than what I seen with the South Carolina Alabama game. Oh
yeah.
man, South Carolina's O line pissed me off so bad, bro.
Well, I will say in their defense, man, Georgia's front, that's their bread and butter. Like the
Alabama's
DBs are
front,
good. The
Alabama's
DBs are
front.
good, but that front and them linebackers, man, like that's what I'm used to seeing. Everybody want to talk like I know a lot of people like to talk about the secondary. Bump that. The goddamn the line and the linebackers for Bama, that's always, in my opinion, been they bread and butter on defense. Like
Yeah.
and this and they got after South Carolina. But South Carolina was giving it right back though. I mean, they couldn't really make a lot of plays downfield, but the quarterback. I can't think of his name. I'm terrible with names. But,
Lenoris Sellers.
oh, Sellers. So I'm not saying his first name. I'm gonna butcher that every time.
Lenoris? You can't say Lenoris?
I'm gonna butcher it. I'm gonna butcher it. Cause I've been getting to thinking and talking so fast. I'm a butcher. I'll be the call on something else. So Sellers,
Uh huh.
he was killing them with the legs. I mean, extending plays, extending drive, and stuff like that. So I mean, no, South Carolina has nothing to be ashamed of with this loss because
I'm ashamed for them.
no, I mean they played very good. They had Alabama on the ropes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you want to close out, but they have nothing. To me, I don't think anybody thought that, after coming off of them losing to Vandy,
Mhm.
that that South Carolina was gonna be able to hang with them.
And
But
it's and again, all these games that we're talking about ended within 3 or 4 points. Like the differential was so close to like
right, because I mean, everybody wants to be the team to take out of Bama, take out
yeah.
of Georgia. Like I mean, that's the whole thing. Like I mean, regardless of what your stat is now, like
Mhm.
regardless of what your record is, regardless if you figure you're gonna make playoffs or not, you at least want to be able to say we beat Bama or we beat Georgia. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Put that blemish on their record. You know what I'm saying? To say we the ones that stopped them from going,
Mhm.
to X, Y, and Z. So, you know, I mean, it is what it is. And Jalen Miro, he was able to figure out a way to get it done. With his legs and his arm.
Mhm.
Him and Ryan Williams, they just seemed like they weren't on the same page. And I just think that just go back to practice and clean that up. But
Yeah.
thankfully for him, other receivers stepped up. So yeah, I mean, an interesting game, to say the least.
Yeah.
But South Carolina definitely had them jokers scared, had them
I
jokers shook.
But you know what's crazy? I think South Carolina was even more surprised that they could keep up with Bama because I don't
Right,
think
right,
not just them, but I think all of America was like, oh man, well, Alabama should handle them. They just came off a loss to Vandy. You know what I'm saying? Like they want revenge. They're at home, so Alabama shouldn't have anything to worry about. But when they went out there and started actually competing, and you got Coach Shane Beamer out there, like, wait a minute, like you mean to tell me we can actually beat Alabama at home, right? I mean, on the road right now, like everybody really was like, oh my goodness, like this could very
right.
well
But
end our way,
again,
but
that's why I say, like, even though I'm not saying
yeah.
that South Carolina is the same talent as Bama, but you talent. I mean, what hard work beat talent any day. When talent think it's gonna be easy, like you know what I'm saying. I know
Yeah.
that ain't the quote, but that's what I'm making it to be right now. But think about it. You got Bama that's got a slow start. You know what I'm saying, coming off of Vandy.
Mhm.
They think, all right, well, South Carolina, we got because I thought it was gonna be a close game. I didn't know it was gonna be that close. But I've watched South Carolina. I've I'm I've watched every football game for the most part this year. You know that. Um, and I've watched South Carolina. South Carolina is, what I'm saying, they're one piece away from being, a really good team. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? The defense is not bad for South
Yeah.
Carolina. You know what I'm saying? I just think they had some stuff to clean up on offense, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But the defense has not been bad this year for South Carolina.
Yeah.
Um, just like I called it with Vandy. I told everybody Vandy's gonna upset somebody. I don't know who, but they gonna, you know what I'm saying? And once they get rolling and figure out who they are, watch out.
Well,
I mean, this is I wasn't expecting the transition here, but I kind of got to. Uh, After the loss from Vandy, I mean, after the win for Vandy against Bama, like they carried it over to Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? And beat Kentucky, which we all saw. Kentucky is a pretty stout team,
yeah.
and going toe to toe with Georgia. So the narrative that people used to run with, oh well, we beat this team by this much,
Mhm.
and they lost to this team, so we gonna beat these jokers like this. No, it ain't gonna work like that. You got
Right.
you got this Saturday. That's it. No matter
Mhm.
what the past is, no matter what that is, we are a great team this year. We have a different game plan for you. We got more confidence than we did back then. You know what I'm saying? Because like I mean, the two losses they had were like in the beginning of the season. They were still trying to figure out who they were. I mean, they beat Virginia Tech, yes, but they still was trying to figure out their identity. You know, and like I said, I think people are looking at Vandy as the Vandy of old. And I'll be the first to say it. I've been the biggest critic of Vandy. You know what I'm saying how terrible they were in the past. But I'll be the first one to tell you that Vandy is not the slouch that people
Yeah,
think that they are. Like, you know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Like, I mean, there's no excuse that Bama shouldn't have lost to them. But Vanderbilt has a different swagger about themselves this season. Like, they coming into every building thinking that they can win, figuring out that they can win. You know,
mhm,
so yeah, man. I love to see it. You know, and quarterback for Vandy.
yeah,
He beat Auburn last year in New Mexico State. So I knew what they had in him. They got a dog. They got a joker that ain't gonna quit. Like
yeah,
that joker ain't finna go down easy. You know what I'm saying? He gonna extend plays. He gonna step up in the pocket. He gonna roll. He gonna shed some tackles in the backfield. Like he to me, he reminds me a lot of Stetson Bennett, the way he can extend plays and stuff like that. His story, because he came from a JUCO or whatever, and then came to New Mexico State, and then transferred to Vandy. So he's
yeah,
kind of been around having to prove himself. So this ain't nothing for him to playing these, saying top tier teams.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So and Vandy also has a pretty decent defense to go along with that offense. So. Yeah,
I'll tell you one thing, man. I mean, you pretty much said it, but Diego Pavea is a game changer. I mean, the man can ball, and I know I hate putting it like this, but when you say the name, Auburn fans kind of tremble because he's like y'all. He's beating y'all like twice already, and then y'all have to see him next week. So
but not twice.
he's
Not twice. But
yeah. I want to say, have y'all played New Mexico State twice, or has it been once?
but he don't play for New Mexico State this
But I'm
year.
saying when he did though,
We played
did they
them
play?
one
Y'all only
time
played them
last year.
once.
Last year
Okay, so
we played them
so
before, but he beat us last year.
okay, I apologize. So yeah, so he's played y'all once, but at the same time, y'all have to play him again next week. So
Next
um,
week
do y'all play Vandy next week? Do y'all not play Vandy next week?
we played Vandy like right before we played Bama, so it's later on in the season.
I could have sworn y'all played Vandy next week.
No, brother.
Well, I'm wrong again. I apologize. But anyway, y'all gonna have to see him regardless. And guess who
No,
don't
yeah,
have to see him?
that's the game that I got circled.
Hey,
I'm
Georgia
scared
ain't
for.
got to see him this year, so that's a good thing. But no, man, like again, Diego Pavia is a game changer. He's a baller. I mean, he's what you want in a quarterback, and it's so funny because they did ESPN did an interview with him this past week or the week after, no, last week, right after they beat Alabama, and he was just talking about how much he admired quarterbacks like Johnny Manziel and
Yeah,
um
he plays just like Johnny
yeah, he played
Manziel.
just like Johnny Manziel, and
But
they of course they brought on Johnny Manziel, along with the interview because as just like Diego, Johnny has also beaten Alabama as well. So
right.
man, but it just really it's crazy how much how much Diego mirrors off of um Johnny's play style, and I mean it's crazy to just see the comparison, man, and I wish the best for Diego, man. He's
Yeah,
definitely a
I rock with Diego.
baller.
I like his game. I said it
Yeah,
last year when they beat us. I'm like, man, this joker, if he wasn't on New Mexico
yeah,
State, you know what I'm saying, he would be getting a lot more looks and
oh
looking
yeah,
and show enough.
yeah. And I mean, of course they did, come down here to Georgia and lose to Georgia State, but I mean, man, that again, it just you get punched in the mouth. You get
Right.
punched in the mouth, but that's nothing to take away from what this Vandy team has already accomplished this season. Again, Vandy doesn't even have fans pack their stadium in Nashville. And now
Exactly.
people are selling out that stadium game after game. You know what I'm saying? So and then for them to win at home against Alabama, like that's the biggest win in their program history since like what, the '80s, if I'm not mistaken, or
Yeah,
that's
they
the first
haven't
time they
beat
beat Bama.
Bama and they
Yeah,
in a
and
long time.
it's some years and dang near some decades. So Vandy, hey man, anchor down. I listen. I used to intern for a news station in Columbus, and it was at one time where we were talking about Vandy, and I took Vandy, and I'm taking Vandy, like I'm taking Vandy now. I'm like, dude, hey, Vandy is going to they already an issue. They are that team.
Yeah,
So
they gonna. I promise you, they're gonna upset more people. You
yeah,
know, How lucky did y'all get that y'all ain't got Vandy this year? Y'all
Man,
usually play them.
man. If it wasn't for Ole Miss and Texas coming on that schedule, brother, I would have
Man,
been tucking my
man,
tail
like
as well.
I'm not saying that Vandy would have beat y'all. I'm not saying that at all. But oh my God,
It would have been something to see. I will say that. It
that's
would
what I'm
definitely been
saying,
something to
man.
see.
Like I was thinking about that the other day. I was like,
Yeah.
man, how crazy is that? Because Georgia usually plays Vandy every year and
Mm-hmm.
obliterates them.
Yeah.
So it's like, what with this Vandy team this year? How would it have gone? Like, you know what I'm saying? And what would the narrative be?
I don't. I
You know,
listen. I ain't gonna lie to you. I wouldn't even want to think about it because, man, again, Vandy's a good looking squad this year, and just the way I mean, dude, we let up, 31 points against Mississippi State this past week.
yeah,
So
man. That's
yeah,
just.
so yeah, but that's not a game that I really want to get into this week. We got a
Yeah.
lot more.
Kirby out here swinging on students.
Hey,
Not just playing.
anyway, that's another. He didn't mean it. It wasn't. It was not intentional. I will stand behind my coach. It was not
Nah,
intentional.
that joker fully extended. He knew what he was doing.
He was trying to push the Glenn Showman, our defensive coordinator, and the player was standing right there, and he mistaken him for Glenn Showman.
That joker missed by a mile.
Well, me personally, it's times where I want to push Glenn Showman too. So anyway, let's talk
Well,
about this.
now I mean, yeah, push your defensive coordinator for sure, but that joker ain't got no helmet on. I'm just saying. I'm
It
just
was
saying.
it was not intentional, but anyway, Ole Miss LSU. I ain't finna fool with you today. Yeah, man, Bama, y'all better get it right. Better get it together. Y'all got Tennessee next week or coming up. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. This how Bama played against South Carolina, that won't get it done against
nope,
Tennessee. But
nope.
I will say, uh, Tennessee's quarterback,
Rico High,
yeah, yeah. Now I
he a
know I
Molly
can't
Albert.
pronounce his last name, so I'm just gonna say Tennessee quarterback because I can't pronounce his last name. Yeah, well, I can't do it.
That's
But
fine.
uh, he has lost a lot of steam here as of late.
Mm-hmm.
He started out the season very hot, but as of late, I mean, he's just playing uncharacteristically, like forcing throws, and it's just not.
Yeah.
He's losing that sting because I was a big fan of him. I still am. I think he's gonna figure it out, but yeah, he's just been losing a lot of steam, and he trying to air it out, And to me, the potential that Bama corners have, I think they can run with him, but
Mm-hmm.
I just think they got to be more consistent against Tennessee. And I think they could beat Tennessee, and I think they will beat Tennessee, but not if they play like they did against South Carolina or Vandy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna work. It's not gonna
Yeah.
work at all.
I mean, honestly, I think Bama should figure out. I think these past 2 weeks would have definitely shown, like, oh my god, like we may not be playing if we keep playing around. We may not be
Right.
playing in the playoffs, and that would be a huge turnaround for that program for them to miss a playoff picture because they almost did last season. So
They did. They did
no,
the year before that. So
but they snuck. They got it. They were able to get in the picture this past year because
this
they jumped
past
up.
year, I'm saying the
Yeah,
year before that,
yeah,
when
yeah.
Bryce
That's
Young
right.
was
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
you know what
So
I'm saying? They missed the playoffs.
right, right.
Because
So
if the new standard had been put in, they would have
mhm,
made it.
right,
Which
right.
I didn't think that Bama team was a bad. I don't think like it's college football is the only sport I know you could lose 2 games and that's it, and you be considered trash. Like I just think that's crazy.
Mhm.
But that's why I like the new playoff format. But yeah, I mean, uh, yeah. So I mean, they've missed the playoffs before. Not by much. I mean, they just lost to 2 really good teams that was hot at the moment.
Mhm.
Ran into Jaden Daniels when he figured out he was Jaden Daniels. Then you ran into Hendon Hooker at Tennessee. When they was making their run. So you just ran into 2 hot teams.
God,
At that moment. So
that is a name I have not heard in a while. I wonder what Hidden Hooker is doing
he in the
now.
league somewhere playing backup.
If that, but Ole Miss, Ole Miss LSU. So sorry about that. Man. first off, why is it that we always find this game going into overtime? Because it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. This game went into overtime where it was like 50 something to 50 something.
Yeah, it was like last year. It was like that,
Yeah, man, this is always a great game. I love watching Ole Miss at LSU, but at the same time, I genuinely do not understand why LSU fans rush the field after this game. I'm still
Well,
trying
I
to figure
mean,
that.
for this year, I mean, Ole Miss is ranked. LSU is ranked lower. You know what I'm saying? So technically, this is an upset.
But 9-13, though, you normally do that within like top five. If you knock off a top five, I thought it was. I've never seen. I've never known it to be like if a 13 teams be if a 13th ranked team beats a number 9 team,
So
you
you
rush the
telling
field.
me if Auburn ranked 13, Georgia ranked number 9, and we playing at Auburn and Auburn beat Georgia, we not gonna rush the field?
I wouldn't see why.
What?
Nah, I wouldn't. I mean, that just
What?
it doesn't click with me all the way. Like that's just
That's
not.
a
I mean,
that's
y'all
a
both ranked,
rivalry game. That's a rivalry game. That's a big game on my resume. You beat a ranked opponent at your home.
but you're both ranked.
But you play, well, one is ranked
Now,
higher, and that's a rivalry game.
but hear me out. If it was like maybe in, let's say for instance, now Army is ranked 25 and they upset Ole Miss. Okay, that's a
That's
lot more.
but
That would make a lot more sense.
not. I just think that's the typical. That mean that to me
Yeah.
that's the given one that everybody expects. But
Hmm.
when you beat your rival and they because think about it, the end of the season LSU had a lot of question marks.
Hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And then as it went on, we didn't know what we were gonna get from LSU at
Yeah.
all. But the fact that they beat a number 9 ranked team in Ole Miss and they rivals, at LSU, you know what I'm saying? I will rush the field too. Like, you mean to tell? Like, I
Fair.
don't know. Like, so for me, you telling me that if I don't know, because I mean, last 2 years, I mean, y'all been killing everybody. So I mean, I don't know how important it is to y'all anymore. But for Auburn fans, we beat a goddamn number 9 ranked Georgia team, or we
Yeah.
beat a number 9 ranked Bama team, and we number 13. We rushing the field.
I
Like,
think y'all rushing the field regardless if y'all
no,
beat
I'm just
Bama.
saying. I'm just saying. Like,
Yeah. No,
That
I
cause
get
that
it.
cause you know how much what that means
Yeah.
for going forward. You just beat a number 9 ranked team in Ole Miss.
Mhm.
Your playoff host is still alive. Your conference championship host is still alive.
Mhm.
Like you basically building a resume to compete for a national championship,
Yeah.
which LSU hasn't done since Burrow. You
Mhm.
know, so um yeah, I mean, I would rush the field too. Like, I mean, it ain't just, to me, rushing the field ain't just you a low ranked team beating a high ranked team. I mean, me personally, a big win is a big win, and that's a big
Right.
win for LSU this year. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I
Because I mean,
listen. I'm not taking anything away from the win. They fought for that win. I mean, to go into overtime with the airbenders that Ole Miss are. So no, I 100% agree. But it just really was
and then in the fashion, you go to
announcing
overtime with a walk off touchdown. You know what I'm saying?
fair, fair,
Like, I
fair.
mean, it's the fashion. Like, yeah, I mean.
Yeah,
They deserve that win. They deserve to rush the field
absolutely,
on that. They
one
deserve to have
100%.
all of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm just being honest with you. Like I said before, Auburn do some junk like that, and I'm at the game. Shit, I'm got there rushing the field. What you mean? I'm
I am,
jumping
I
over
am,
head,
I am, I
everything.
am. I'm rushing the field with the students.
Man, stop. Shoot. Cause I mean, you think about it, bro. Like like we as fans are like extended whether it's student or we extended LSU players. Like this win, like though, like if you think about it, if you're an LSU fan, you're an extended LSU player because you come to the games, watch the game, you spend money on the apparel, you watch who they recruiting, you spend so much time paying attention to your team. Like for me, like with Auburn, like I'm already looking at what we got the number 3 recruit class, by the way, as of right now. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But nah, like you know what I'm saying? Like we spend so much time looking at who's coming in, looking at who's leaving, buying apparel every year. Going to games, spending our Saturday watching them play. You know what I'm saying? Hearing people talk junk to us if we lose. Us talking junk to people defending our team. Us talking junk saying we winning. Like, I mean, you think about all the time you spend talking about Georgia and being proud that you're a Georgia fan. So when y'all make a big win, you gonna goddamn rush the field. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's almost like seeing yourself winning right there because you are a part of that. And
Yeah.
you help because, I mean, if you at home, you know what I'm saying, you scream, you bought tickets, you know what I'm saying, you made the stadium shake, you doing all of that. So, I mean, as fans, they deserve that. Like,
Right.
they deserve that. That's all I'm saying.
I 100% think that is fair. But I think it was just I think it was just unbeknownst to me that I didn't understand as to why, but now it does. I get it. I know. I 100%. I'm not saying they shouldn't have, but I just didn't understand as to why. So
That's big. That's a big win
yeah.
against the
And if
rivalry.
I'm not mistaken, now that I think about it, they rushed the field after the overtime win when it was like in the 50s too. So it
Right,
makes
because
sense. I get it.
it's a rivalry
I
game,
get
and
it.
you know how they
Yeah.
get down in Louisiana. They be lit.
Oh,
You
100%.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
they
So
ready to party, man. They ready. I mean, hey, I'm
listen,
just saying.
I get it. Hey, and OBJ was in the building for this game too. So yeah, no,
Right?
I
Like, I
completely
mean,
get it.
you gotta rush the field. You in
Yeah.
Louisiana, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And you win a big game at home. Come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
If NFL fans was anything like college fans, they'd rush the field in the dome. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I still get people that tell me that NFL is better than college, and I just be wanting to just
Nah, I mean,
punch them in their
it's a
esophagus.
little different. It's a little different. The fandom is a little different.
It's a lot different. Ain't no little. It's a lot different. But yeah, man. But just to really hit on this game, Garrett Nussmeier, 337 yards, three
What he
touchdowns.
balled out. He balled
Bro,
out.
I mean, he's been on a tear this year as well. Jackson Dart really has been, kind of slowing down because he's normally able to hit that 300 mark within passing yards, but definitely has been kind of on a decline in the last few games or so. Of course, he's definitely still hitting his main guys. Trey Harris with 102 yards. We saw a little bit of Caden Lee. He was leading the receiving category this game with 132 yards. Um, Kyron Lacey, oh my goodness, man, played out of his mind. I think that was the one that caught the winning touchdown. 111 yards, one touchdown. So yeah, man, they're just hitting all of their strides. Hitting their guys that when it matters the most. And yeah, bro, another classic, man. All these games, bro. Just if you thought last week was where it was at, no, this week, I cannot stress that enough, man. This week was where it was at for real. Like all these games, man, just really hitting big for the college football fandom and really giving the fans what to look out for. But yeah, bro, couldn't have been more happy. But let's talk about this Florida Tennessee game. Florida was up, bro. Listen, if this past week against Tennessee does not have this man, bro, if Florida's head coach is not out of a job by the end of this week, I know something, bro.
Oh, he's going to be. He's going
He
to be. Like
has
I
to
like
be.
I said before. At this, like after they struggled mid of the beginning of the season, leading up to this point. He just trying to go out with a bang at this point. That with a big win, and he can't get it done.
Where is the Big Bang?
I
Dude,
didn't
you have
say it was a bang. I just
oh,
say
I
he
was
was
gonna
trying to
say
go out with a bang.
this is not
Yeah,
the bang that I
cause
want,
that gun ran out of bullets a long time ago. Ain't no bang.
bro. I mean, listen, you can say that again. I mean, you are already what up 3-0 at the half, and then it was 10. They came back, and it was 10-10 in the third, and then they take it into overtime, take it into overtime and win it in overtime, bro. That is the most hurt. That is the most hurtful way to lose as a Florida fan. Is to not only lose in overtime, but for the team to come back. Like that's man. Listen, as much as I hate Florida fans, man, that's a hard way to lose, bro. That is a
Yeah, I
hard
mean,
way to lose.
and you know, I will say the defense definitely held Tennessee in check,
Mm-hmm.
but you know they let that monster go. They hey, once he got to cooking, it was over with.
Are you talking about Dylan Simpson, Sampson, the running back, or from Tennessee,
Yeah,
or yeah,
yeah,
yep,
that's what I'm saying. Like I mean, because that's he to me. Like I didn't even really pay attention to him at first.
yeah.
You know, because I was so fascinated by how the quarterback
Mm.
playing. You know, as far as like at the beginning of the season and stuff like that. But
Well,
they let that joker go. Man.
it's funny you say that because we took him on the CFB selects for this past weekend. I mean, I took him just because of granted, it was the competition that they were playing against, which was Florida. But he started off really slow in the first half. But man, like you said, he cooked. He turned something on in the
They said
half.
they had time. They said, bro, he ain't getting it
You
done.
better
You gonna
let
have to
go.
do it. You gonna have to bring this home for us.
You better let something
Yeah,
go,
you
bro. We need a
carry us
win.
on your shoulder. And
Right,
my boy said, say less.
right, right.
Say
So
less.
yeah, he turned something on in that second half and 3 touchdowns, 112 yards, and he said, "Yeah, we're not losing this
Bro.
game. We're
And I
not
love
losing,
it.
this game. Especially at home. You're not losing to Florida at home. So
Long as it ain't our team, I love it. Man, as long as it ain't my team against my team,
yeah,
I love
y'all got on kind of lucky this week having a bye week, huh?
it. I don't know how lucky it gonna be because we got Mizzou Saturday.
Yeah, yeah.
But I will say, I mean, we I think we can make some shape because Mizzou is not going as fast as
Well,
they did at the beginning.
and man, and truth be told, Mizzou really had like a little mid season tuna game playing UMass this past week, and I mean, of course, they destroyed UMass. So maybe I really don't see why they would have maybe needed a tune-up game to play y'all. Not taking anything away from Auburn, but I mean, I think y'all should have. I think y'all should definitely be good because y'all had that week off, and then you got extra time to prepare for
We
Mizzou.
just bet we better. We
I
better.
know.
I'll be out there watching the game and if these jokers don't got there and get right, I ain't celebrating a win in 3 weeks, man. I got man.
You need something, bro. You need something to take that edge off. I know it.
No
I
man,
know
I'm gonna need Jesus after they got their
it.
game, but golly.
But yeah, man, let's go ahead and head on over to this Texas State Fair with Texas and Oklahoma, man. The Red River rivalry comes to SEC territory, man. Big game. Of course, as you know, this man, I'm just so glad both of these teams are down in the SEC because I know this game didn't really show, the type of competition that we usually see from this game, but man, Texas really proved why they are number one in this.
Yeah, I mean, I think Texas is the only team right now, whether SEC or
Mhm.
just in general, that has to this point that has no questions.
Yeah,
And it's so crazy to me that the only question is who's your quarterback because both of your quarterbacks are putting up, what I'm saying, big numbers. So I mean, and that's a good problem to have. So I mean, you literally know that if Ewers goes down, Manning gonna make sure it's shake too.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like what a time to be a Texas fan. I'm just being honest. Like they
Oh
got
man,
cooking. This was their first big test.
say that one more time.
Huh?
Say that one more time.
Well, what a time it is to be a Texas fan.
Man, oh man,
I mean, I'm just being honest, and I'm here for the Texas nostalgia because I was alive and around when Texas was Texas. Like you know what
hmm
I'm saying? Like they were competing for championships. They were making some shape. They had Vince Young. They had these Ricky Williams. They had all of these people. Like you know what I'm saying? So I saw a lot of that. So and I mean I used to play with Texas on the goddamn video game. So I mean, you know what I'm saying? Uh I love seeing Texas football be back in the way it is, and the fact that they're in the SEC, you know what I'm saying? That makes it even better. And I'm so glad that Oklahoma and Texas came to the SEC because it shook up the SEC. Because I haven't I haven't seen the SEC be this competitive in a while. It's always competitive, but to this level, it's like I haven't seen this much energy around it. Like everybody feel like they can compete now. You know, you got, even though Mississippi State's record doesn't reflect it, they competed against Georgia. They, you know what I'm saying, and Vandy's competing and upsetting people. You know, well, we ain't gonna talk about Auburn right now, but you know what I'm saying? Everybody's competing and making some shake and trying to, you know, compete for that SEC championship because it's not East versus West no more.
Mm-hmm.
So you know.
Uh-oh. I
What
know that.
you?
I know that. I know that look. Yes, she is. Is that what I think it is? But anyway, as Stackz was saying, I mean, this game is just it's a big matchup. I mean, and for both of these teams to now be in that picture and in that category, man, it just adds so much more of the word that I want to use is that camaraderie, that energetic feeling of the SEC being that dominant conference, you know. So, it just, man, that just really just makes me happy that we got these two teams in, and it. I mean, you know, of course, again, the result wasn't what we expected, but that's not to say that in the next upcoming years that this game could be having a different outcome to where we're seeing, you know, literal boxing matches of this game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, because Oklahoma is still, they're not rebuilding, but they're adding on to what they
Mm-hmm.
already have. So they say, and they got some questions about them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they still come to compete every year, but the quarterback position for them has been, you know, up and down. You know what I'm saying? They got receivers, you know, that are really good, but you know they got some stuff that they, excuse me, they're trying to work on. They're trying to build up or whatever. Which I mean, every team has that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just a matter of how much. Like, you know. So, yeah, I mean, I think in the future it's gonna be back to being that game. Just like I think I'm gonna be honest with you, I think all the rivalries are gonna start being back to what they used to be here soon. Because I mean, think about it, like in the past, everybody went to the more popular school or something like that. Now, you know, you got NIL and the transfer portal, and now everybody, you know, it don't matter now. Because if this season told me anything, is that any team can be a contender for the national championship. Now it's just a matter of how well you put your team together. You know, before it's just like, all right, with Georgia, Alabama, or you know, maybe Oregon put in there, or Ohio State, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of been the same few teams that's had the elite players, but now it's changing, it's shifting. So we'll see. We'll see. But Tennessee,
Yeah.
not Tennessee, Texas definitely is the team to watch out
Right.
for in my
And,
eyes.
and like we talked about, you know, before we went on, I'm not putting nothing. I'm not putting nothing against my boys. I have not talked to anybody. People have asked me about this matchup, and I have even said it on this podcast. I'm not counting Texas out. Like they are probably gonna win this upcoming week. They are more than likely gonna win coming up this week. I mean, yeah, y'all might say, oh well, that's not having faith in your team. No, I'm gonna tell you this. I am a realistic fan first. Yeah, I always talk about, you know, oh yeah, you know, my dog's gonna do this, my dog's gonna do this. I'm realistic. Georgia has not shown me that they can go into Austin, Texas, and beat Texas. And
Right.
I'm just being 100% honest with you. They have not shown me this season that they can actually go into Austin, Texas, and beat the Texas Longhorns. So I've kind of already gotten in my head, and I've kind of got my mindset. We're probably gonna go into Austin losing this game, and it's that's just
And
how it
see,
is.
and it's the great thing about this year.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, at the beginning of the season, after obviously they announced that it was gonna be the new format and
Yeah,
stuff. I was kind of skeptical. So I'm like, okay, well, the format, the previous format was exciting. You had a lot of questions, people talking, this, that, and the third. So how's it gonna be this year? I think it's beautiful for college football because
mm-hmm.
now, like I said, we're talking about, what I'm saying, uh, teams potentially getting some get back, what I'm saying, in the playoffs because you can still have two losses and be in the playoffs this year. So, well, obviously we know the first few teams are going to be the conference champions or whatever. So, um, yeah. So if Texas beats Georgia, that pretty much takes them out of the SEC championship
Yeah.
picture, depending on the way the rest of the season goes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it still potentially can, what I'm saying, if they finish out strong, could potentially put them in the SEC championship, depending on what
Yeah.
everybody else does.
Yeah.
So, and then even if they don't get the championship, I don't see Georgia missing the playoffs this year. I think, depending on how the rest of the season goes with everybody else, I think at least if they lose to Texas, they get in as a low seed. You know, which is scary because Georgia being a hunter, you
Right.
know.
But and I'm saying let's not count out these lower seeds because they look pretty good too this year. But I mean, of
Right,
course, you know,
right. So
but yeah,
for me, it's like, but if Georgia does lose to this Texas team, you know, I gotta say it, and I mean, I'm not even the one to talk junk like this, but now you can kind of see what Bama was going through
Mhm.
when Saban was, on his way out. You know what I'm saying? Even though they only lost 2 games, everybody was saying how, Bama was washed up and they weren't good. Will they say the same thing about you guys if y'all lose 2 games?
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say that because I think Georgia's a good football team. They're not elite like they were, you know, when they won the 2 championships. But as we all know, everything's about timing. Timing. Y'all had the right team at the right time playing against the right Bama. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that y'all want to beat another Bama team or whatever, but it's timing. And then the team y'all beat the second time, pretty much the competition was for y'all to win, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not saying that they put them in there for y'all to win, but the competition that you had played against, you know, outside of Ohio State, is pretty much there for y'all. But
Mhm.
this time, you have a chance. Like, got what, 3 games to play? Got a quarterfinal, semifinal, and then the championship. If you get in, but you guys won't get a bye week if you lose this game. So then that's 4 games you got to play. 4 opportunities to win, but also 4 opportunities to get upset. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I think
Yeah.
if Georgia can pull this game off, that's gonna shake everything up, and they'll prove to me that they're better than what they are. What I think they are.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think this team is good, but I don't think they're a championship team, in my opinion. But also, in their favor is, I don't see, the only team I see as a championship team up until this point is Texas.
Yeah.
That's just me being honest. Like, I don't think Ohio State is a championship team up until this point. Um, Oregon will be a close second. That's who I think Texas will play if you know what I'm saying, if I had my pick of how everything is going as of right now, I think it would be Oregon and Texas going. Because Oregon's hot right now. Ohio State still got some stuff to figure out. Bama still got stuff to figure
Yeah.
out. Georgia still got stuff to figure out. So everybody in that top 10 kind of got some stuff to figure out. And I don't think Penn State's gonna hold their spot much longer, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um,
It's funny. It's funny you say that because I know that's one of the last games we're gonna talk about, and I do want to definitely want to hit on that. But no, you're right. That's very true. That is James Franklin. So
Yeah,
no,
he
but
liable to
yeah,
That's why he was so excited he beat USC because he liable to mess up a big game.
right.
But I like I said last year, I was like I didn't think that they should fire him because I mean
Mhm.
he's right, he was right there and he essentially was like
Yeah,
you know but he beat USC, yes, but USC's been struggling this year, so it's
Mhm.
like, all right, yeah, you beat the big wig, but you didn't beat the big wig when they was big wigging. Like,
right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
So I mean, as the season continues, we'll see what they do. But
Yeah,
I don't think they're gonna hold the spot, for the rest of the season.
yeah. So no, yeah, I think that's very fair to go ahead and transition. And let's. I mean, we got to if we're gonna talk about Vandy, we got to talk about Vandy. Let's talk about this Vandy Kentucky game, which was pretty much a game of just the
Brother,
trappers.
we talked about the Vandy Kentucky game.
Did we? I don't think we
Yeah,
really did. We
yes,
because we
yes,
didn't really
we
talk about Brock. We
did.
didn't talk about Brock for real. I know we talked about Diego. We was talking about Diego, but we didn't really talk about them for real.
Yeah, bro.
We did. Okay, well let's talk about Penn State then.
No, we talk about it. Go ahead.
All
You
right.
already got
Well,
it there.
I
We
just,
here
I mean,
now.
I just want to say that this was a game of pretty much the trappers. This was a trap. This was the battle between the two trap teams of the SEC, which was Kentucky and Vandy. And but yeah, I mean the score shows it was super close. Um, Kentucky just couldn't close out. I didn't really get. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I didn't really get a chance to watch this game for real. Like it just wasn't on my radar. I mean, I knew it was definitely what the game of the two trap teams. So,
No,
but yeah,
yeah, I watched it. It was. I put it like this: no questions were raised.
Mhm.
And from my standpoint, like we already knew Kentucky's offense struggles. The defense is the defense is their strong point.
Mhm.
Brock Vandegrift is good. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, but the offense struggles. They stall out a lot. You know, because think about it. Had the offense been a little bit more efficient against Georgia, they probably would have won that game. I mean, even with the offense not being great, they still almost won that game. It's just a call, didn't go their way. But I mean, yeah, I mean Vanderbilt, they scored. They did what they supposed to do. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying, against a good defense. You know what I'm saying. I think it's a good defense. I mean, other
yeah,
people might say otherwise, but yeah, I mean, it didn't turn any heads or anything. I mean, we kind of saw Diego what we thought, and same with Vandegrift, honestly.
okay. Penn State, USC. Penn State, USC. Let's go. Come on. Penn State is now number 4 in the AP
Yeah, I mean, and
25.
rightfully so. I mean, with the
Okay.
way everybody else has been playing, I
Hmm.
mean, they're undefeated, as of right now. But I don't think they hold that position much longer. Because I mean,
Okay. It's gonna definitely be some, and I know you've been wanting this, but it's definitely gonna be some people that be like, why do you think that? But no, but granted, I mean, this game also went into overtime, and it was a 3 point matchup. I mean, it was a 3 point differential. But man, just to see, first off, Drew Aller has kind of been doing his thing as well. And it's just crazy to see that, like it's crazy to genuinely see that Penn State is finally getting that shot because that's one of the teams that's always like right there, like really right there, and they just
what?
always fall short because James Franklin is doing what he's doing. Something is
Yeah, I
over.
mean, if you think about it,
Yeah.
they always at some point in the season get top 10,
Hmm.
and then they start Penn State, and James Franklin start James Franklin, and then it's like, okay, well, we can't win the big one, and they
Right.
still haven't won the big one because USC is playing terrible after week 1. Like they
Hmm.
haven't played super great. I'm just being honest.
Yeah. Their
No,
last big matchup was against what, LSU, or
the
was it?
USC, yeah, at the beginning of
Yeah.
the season, yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, and even in that game, to me, they didn't play super fantastic. They didn't
Yeah.
play they didn't play like a big time ranked team or nothing like that. So it's
Yeah.
like I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't see. I'm looking for their schedule to see who they play upcoming.
They have next week. They have Wisconsin next week. I'm sorry. You're asking about USC. I'm so sorry. I clicked Penn State.
Yeah, you good. You good. You good.
They have So they have Maryland next week, Rutgers, Washington, Nebraska, UCLA, and then Notre Dame to end the season. So
Okay.
they
So
should they should handle business against Maryland. Rutgers is not no slouch. Washington is not a slouch. Nebraska is not a slouch. UCLA should handle business, and Notre Dame is 100% a toss up.
depending on which Notre Dame we get.
Exactly. So that's why I said a toss up. Why I genuinely said a toss up, because you just do not know what team you're going to get from Notre Dame.
Yeah. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see.
Hmm.
I say that to say the least. Um, yeah, Penn State. I mean, they I don't know. I just don't because Wisconsin is that's not a slouch. No, Penn State they got Ohio State on the second
Are
on
you
on the
asking?
second.
Did you ask about USC or did you ask about Penn
No,
State?
Penn State. I don't care about no
I was
USC this
on
year.
Penn State and I thought you said Penn State, and I went over to. I don't know why I went over to USC.
No, because
I had Penn State up. So yeah, so
they got Wisconsin, which
yeah,
ain't no slouch. They
right,
got Ohio State, which
which
definitely
is
ain't
not
no
a
slouch.
slouch.
Um, and then they got Washington, Purdue, Minnesota, and Maryland.
Yeah.
So
Also, dude, Purdue put up 50 this past week.
yeah,
So
I mean, like I say, in a given. Well, for Penn State,
why you say
huh?
you say it like that? Yeah, that's cool and all, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to Purdue. I mean, this is college cow. I mean, I appreciate y'all.
Anyway, that ain't what we're talking about right now. But anyway,
Great job putting up 50. I'm glad that welcome to the club. You know, of teams that put up 50 before. So, great. So anyway,
just go, just go, just go, just go, just go.
yeah, but Penn State, got Ohio State. That's the
Yeah,
game that we all should be looking at because
absolutely, absolutely.
because Penn State can't win the big one. So that's been the whole thing. So as of right now,
So go ahead and circle. So what we're saying is we're circling November 2nd for Penn State.
November 2nd. Because I
Okay.
mean, if we're being honest, I mean, yeah, they could be number 4 because of not who they beat, but because of them being undefeated. Because look at who they beat. They beat West Virginia.
Mhm.
They beat Bowling Green. They beat Kent State. They beat Illinois, UCLA, and USC.
So really, we're saying that bottom half of the schedule is where it can really get treacherous.
That's when it gets ugly because they
Yeah.
got Wisconsin, Ohio State. We got 2 games right there out the gate. And then Washington, which is no slouch. And then they got Purdue with the 52, so we can tie it in there. So I mean, if Purdue put up 52, they maybe, but I mean, I don't see that as no. They might pull it out. I mean, this season's been crazy, so
Okay.
they might make some shake. And then you got Minnesota and Maryland, so you got potentially 4 games that you could struggle with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You beat Wisconsin, okay. You know what I'm saying? To me, that would be your first big test. Even though they say USC was your first big test, but USC they ain't been playing too hot this year,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. Yeah. So you got Wisconsin, and you turn around and do Ohio State. So I mean, if they can win out or at least
Yeah. Well. Like I said before, I was definitely talking to a Penn State fan, and basically they were stating like, they didn't too much know what to expect about this USC game because they pretty much said the same thing we're saying. This is usually around the time where James Franklin, and it's just
Right,
like
and they only beat USC by 3.
three, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I mean, and then the rest of their games, I'm looking at. Okay, you beat UCLA 27-11. Okay, cool. Illinois 21-7. I mean, Kent State was your biggest win because you won 56-0. But then you almost lost to Bowling Green.
Mm-hmm.
You beat Bowling Green 34-27. And the first game of the season it was 34-12. So it's not it.
It's about to get treacherous for Penn State. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, don't
It's
get me
gonna get
wrong. I
treacherous.
hope Penn State get to being how they used to be, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's easy
yeah.
to beat the teams you're supposed to beat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I'm just being honest.
But I will say the advantage that they have in that Ohio State game is that they'll be at home. So they better pray that that's their whiteout game.
But even if it is that whiteout game, I mean, yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not against Ohio State. That's Ohio State trying to prove something too because they just came out their first loss. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Well, yeah, man.
But think about it right now. Right now, I mean, you got them right now. It's Oregon and Penn State for the Big Ten championship because that's the two undefeated. So if Ohio State wants to save their season and have a shot, they don't lose that game. And then with James Franklin, I mean, you got a chance. You lose that game, you still got a chance. You just can't lose no more.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting, but yeah.
So I mean, let's just go down the rankings and just make sure everything is in order before we close out. So we got Texas number 1, Oregon number 2, Penn State 3. I don't know why I said Penn State 4 at first, but Ohio State is 4. Georgia at 5, Miami at 6, Alabama at 7, LSU at 8. Iowa State creeping up. Shout out to Iowa State at 9. Clemson. Shout out to Clemson as well. Definitely catching their stride.
Yeah, they look like a different football team.
Definitely.
I'm glad to see that.
Yeah, good for Clemson. 11 is Tennessee. 12 Notre Dame. 13 BYU. 14 Texas A&M. 15 Boise. How about Boise, man? Ashton Genty making that come up. 16 Indiana. 17 Kansas State. 18 Ole Miss. 19 Mizzou. 20 Pitt. 21 SMU. 22 Illinois. Also, before we close out, shout out to the service academies: 23 Army, 24 Michigan, and 25 Navy. Boy, these service academies showing out, man. Oh my goodness, 6-0 Army and 5-0 Navy. Boy, ooh wee, man, y'all better watch out for these service academies. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, watch out for the service. Watch out.
Service academies. You all right? Are you okay?
Huh?
Are you okay? Is it allergies messing with you?
No, I was laughing.
Oh.
Yeah, you threw me off when you said you better watch out for these service academies.
Service academies ain't playing, bro. But yeah, let's get into some predictions for week 8. Friday at 8 on Fox. Number 2, Oregon versus Purdue. Who you got?
Good Oregon.
All right, we're going Oregon. Friday at 10:15 on ESPN. Oklahoma State and BYU. Who you got?
Oklahoma State.
BYU. Number 12 on ABC on Saturday. Number 6, Miami and Louisville. Who you got?
Miami.
We're going Miami. Number 12. I'm sorry, at 12 on Saturday. On Fox. Nebraska and number 16, Indiana. Who you got? That's kind of that's. But tough. I will say this: Raiola has not. I'm not gonna lie. I hate to say it. I think my boy overrated.
No, I mean, he's still a freshman, so you know what I'm saying. I mean,
But he had a lot of hype around him coming in. Fair,
I've learned that hype don't mean nothing.
fair,
You still
fair.
human. So I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think he's overrated. I just think he's young. You know,
All right, I get that.
yeah, I just think he's young. I mean, because I mean, you blossom into a better player. You know what I'm saying? Your junior year,
Yeah.
maybe sophomore, but junior senior year, that's when it counts.
Yeah.
You know,
So,
but
which way you going?
I got Nebraska losing that game.
All right. I think Nebraska loses as well. All right, number 12. Why do I keep saying number 12? 12 p.m. Eastern time, ESPN on Saturday. Auburn and Mizzou. Who you got?
Auburn and who?
Mizzou. You know who y'all play. I don't know why you asking it who. You know who y'all play.
I know who we play. I feel like Mizzou gonna win, but I'm going from my Tigers.
Yeah, as you should. I know.
War Eagle.
That was a sad War Eagle.
Yeah,
3:30.
This year is cool.
3:30 ABC Saturday. Number 7 Alabama and number 11 Tennessee. The third Saturday in October. Who you got?
I got Bama winning them, but not by much.
I pray to God Tennessee shows up and shows out this game. I'm going Tennessee. 3:30 on Saturday, ESPN. Number 12, Notre Dame, Georgia Tech. Who you got?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. 3:30 on CBS on Saturday. 24 Michigan and 22 Illinois fighting a line. Who you got?
I got Illinois beating Michigan.
With the upset? All right.
This the half Michigan can't throw the ball around.
Fair. They're gonna have to run, and I don't know if I think Illinois may be able to stop that. So I might have to go Illinois with the win. All right. 7 p.m. on Saturday, ESPN. Number 8, LSU in Arkansas. Who you got?
I got LSU only because Arkansas offense don't know.
Yeah, it's very unorganized. That is a very unorganized offense. I'm going LSU.
Yeah, but their defense is solid.
Yeah, that offense is just everywhere. 7:30 p.m. Saturday, ABC. Number 5 Georgia and number 1 Texas. Who you got?
I got them horns. I got Texas for that.
Them boys better handle business. I'm telling you now, them boys better handle business. But I'm taking Texas, man. I can't.
You had already made your prediction.
I can't. Listen. Texas just looks like the all around complete team right now, and I just can't. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I mean, as much as I would like for my boys to win, Texas is just looking dominant, man. So I'm taking Texas, especially at home, man. You can't even try to get anywhere around that. Well, that does it for another phenomenal episode of the College Couch Podcast. We cannot thank y'all enough for rocking with us and continuing to support us. Again, super sorry that we could not give y'all an episode last week as much as we wanted to. It just the cards just weren't in our favor. And yeah, man. We made sure we got y'all for this week, so we definitely are not going anywhere. Everything is okay, so everything is right in the world. All right, we're good to go. Stackz, my brother, take us home, please.
Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for rocking with us, tuning in to another episode of the College Couch Podcast. Hey, hit that subscribe button when you get a chance. Give us a holler, give us a listen. You know what I'm saying? If you got anybody that needs some shine, that ain't getting the love that they need, you know, and they showing out at the college level, whether it be any sport, volleyball, football, don't matter. You know, let us know. Hit Javaris and his DM, hit me in my DM, or hit the College Couch Podcast page. You know, we respond to all three. So just let us know. But hey, get what though? We're going to get out of here because we got bills to pay.
I 100% got bills to pay. Let me tell you about it. Help me out. I need, we'll talk about it later.
Wake up, I gotta go get it. Wake up, wake up, I gotta go get it.